Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Monday. I'm coming on before it gets too late because y'all know I don't have any energy if I come on here too late, right? Do I have any lip gloss on my teeth? No, I'm okay. Hey guys, hello. As you're coming on, hello. Where are you guys chiming in from? Make sure you put in the comments where you're coming in from. Where are you at right now? Hello, happy Monday, Liz. Hi, baby. Hi, sweetheart. Kelsey, keeping up with Miss Jones. Mr. Kevin, hi, sweetheart. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Had a little catch in my throat. Something happened. Woo. I'm doing it. Philadelphia, ATL, Atlanta. Hello. It's funny because you guys, on Franklin, Tennessee. Hi, John. Mississippi. Step Mill. Where's Step Mill? Hi, honey. Carolinas, Washington, D.C., Columbus, Ohio. Oh, Marina, I'm from Columbus, too. I was born in Columbus. Boston. Hello. Alexandria, Virginia. You guys know, like, social media gives you insights. Kuwait. Hello, honey, in Kuwait. It gives you insights on like where your followers are at or where most of your followers are at. Callie, hey Callie in the house. I love California. I have a lot of followers in New York. New Yorkers love me. That was just as Joanne was coming in saying New York, right? Philly, hi Jazzy Jeff from Philly. Tori, hi honey. I literally have a lot of followers in New York. New York people, I guess they like my no nonsense, kind of like keep it real, kind of advice. St. Louis in the house. Gary, Indiana. Hi, Lauren. South Africa. Welcome, South Africa. I have a large following in South Africa. Blessed Gianna says, love from New York. Yeah, lots of following in New York. Step Mill. Oh, you're on the Step Mill at the gym. Oh, you're from Virginia Beach. Hi, sweetheart. Netherlands. We have like a couple coaches we've certified from the Netherlands already. Mary. Hi, Mary. Yeah, Franca says, exactly, you keep it real. That's why I think the New York people like me, because I just clear, blunt, to the point. They love that. Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, UK, huge following in the UK. I have my stats when it shows like where people follow me from. People follow me a lot in the UK. I get a lot of emails, people talking about wanting me to come over to the UK. To do like some seminars or a conference or anything. Yep. All right. So guys, today's topic is booze clues. I'm doing a booze clues segment today. So I'm going to give you some booze clues today. And some of these are just pretty straightforward, but the problem with booze clues is that most of the time when you need to be listening to the booze clues, right? Fam says, New Yorkers don't take no BS. That's why we love you. Thank you, sweetheart. So the reason I have to give you booze clues, and this is what's tough, okay, about this segment today. You don't want to listen to the booze clues when you really like somebody, okay? It's when you like someone and you really want something to be what you want it to be is when you need the booze clues the most, but you don't listen, okay? So fellas, I don't care how much you like her. I don't care how much you think she's wifey, how much you're like, oh, she don't know it yet, right? She's about to be booed up. That's my forever right there. Listen, guys, that's all fine and good. You can set your intentions on someone just like I did Mr. Pope. But you know what? Mr. Pope had to be in agreement with that. Mr. Pope had to be reciprocating. Mr. Pope, right? So sometimes, guys, there's some booze clues that you can't afford to ignore. You cannot afford to ignore. I don't care. Okay, so here's the big one. If their actions don't match their words, it does not matter what they're saying. If their actions, booze clues number one. This is your booze clue number one. If actions don't line up with words, they are full of BS. They're full of some ish. They're running their mouths and knowing that these words are getting you to do what they want you to do, or they're stringing you along, but their intentions are not good because their actions aren't lining up with the talk. So they're full of ish, okay? That's boost clue number one. If somebody's actions are not lining up with their words, and Deja is dope says, learn this the hard way, right? Because, and where is the danger zone for this boost clue? Where does this get dangerous? Because you really like them, you want to believe all the stuff they're saying to you. You want to believe, so it's stringing you along because they're saying what you want to hear, right? And so you're literally going along with it because, oh, he said, oh, she said, oh, well, she's just busy right now. So you make excuses for them when the logical part of your brain is to, oh, I think I'm having some kind of allergic reaction. I sat out on my deck, guys, and it was like pollen. Excuse me. So the logical part of your brain knows when something isn't adding up, but your emotions, your ego, fellas, your ego, ladies, your ego is like, well, why would he not want this, right? Your ego, fellas, is like, man, why would she not be all on this? Why would she not be, responsive, wanting me too? I'm like the bomb, right? We all think we're the bomb. But that doesn't mean that you are somebody's cup of tea. That doesn't mean that they like you and prefer you the way you prefer them. One of the biggest ups and downs that you go through in dating before finding someone special is that whole dance and back and forth of you liking someone, but they don't like you quite as much. They like you, but you don't like them quite as much. And it's back and forth with that and back and forth. You'll meet somebody new and you're excited because you really like them. Then you realize they're not in a place to be in a relationship. They don't really like you. Listen, and here's booze clue number 2. When somebody says they're not ready for a relationship, what they're really saying is they're not ready for a relationship with you. That's the unspoken part. When they say they're not saying with you. When they keep keeping you in the friend zone, or whenever they start to feel like it's getting a little too committed, or things are getting a little complicated, or things are getting emotionally involved and they're always backing off. You feel like you're playing this hot and cold. Like you can spend time together and it's absolutely amazing. But then you feel like right after you've had this amazing experience with someone that then they're kind of backing off on you and like, dang, we just had this amazing weekend, or we just had this amazing conversation. But then I call you and you don't answer the phone, or I call you and it takes you forever to get back to me. Like, wait a minute. I thought this was hot and cold. They don't want to be in a relationship. But the silent part of that is with you, right? Brittany says, you taught me all of this, Rebecca, and I'm finally effing got it, right? So here's the other part, right? Here's the other part. It's up to you to pay attention to the actions. It's up to you. And then don't get mad when they go forward and 6 months later, they're engaged to someone. 6 months later, they're in a Facebook official, social media official relationship with someone when you couldn't beg, borrow, or steal a relationship with them. And you're sitting there like, and your mind and your ego told yourself, oh, they're just not ready. It's timing. His mama got sick. Oh, her daughter had some issues. Oh, he got a DUI. He's got to deal with some legal issues. When somebody wants you and somebody is serious about wanting you and somebody sees your value, fellas and ladies, if they see your value, ain't nothing coming in between you and somebody who's serious about wanting you. Serious. How do you explain this to someone you love? I've been trying to explain this to my sister, but she doesn't want to listen. Lynn Lisa J, you cannot explain it to her She is so emotionally involved. She made the mistake of getting emotionally involved with someone without vetting and qualifying them, did not require enough in return. Now she's all in love with somebody and she's just an option to him. She's just an option. And that is so hard, guys, for our heart, our mind and our heart, our ego. It's so hard to take those L's. Isn't it hard to take those L's, guys? Isn't it hard when you're like, but dang, I'm awesome. Carrie and I were just having a conversation this morning, and I was telling him, I said, you know, it's crazy how long it takes for you to find somebody who really, 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 really sees your value, and it's reciprocated. It's rare. It's hard. That's what you're waiting on. That's what that really special situation, that special person, that's what you're really waiting on. Someone who finally sees you for who you are. And you see them like, oh my God, you're amazing. I can't let you get away from me. You're awesome. And they're looking at you the same way like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Finally, right? J-Mo, the MVP. But sometimes it'd be bad communication. You ask questions like, what you think about me? And they answer, I'm just vibing. Okay, let me be clear. Anybody that seems like lukewarm on you, guys, unless you out here just looking for lukewarm and you're just kind of kicking it and you aren't looking for anything serious, if somebody is not pressed about you, they got other stuff going on, you are not a priority, and you need to keep it moving. Because all that's going to happen, booze clue number 3, if you are ready and you're at a point in your life where you want a serious relationship and you want to be working on something serious, leading towards commitment, whatever version of commitment that looks like for you, if you are ready for that, you can't afford to get yourself in these entanglements, because that's what it's going to become. If you keep seeing somebody who is lackluster, lukewarm, exercising their options on you, and you like them, guess what? You run the risk of falling in love with the lukewarm, casual dating buddy who is not invested and is not really looking for anything with you. Now you're caught up emotionally with someone who is not into you. And that's dangerous. That's the road to heartbreak. That's the road for you to be out here dealing with heartbreak after rejection, heartbreak, all kinds of situations you're going to keep dealing with if you keep ignoring your booze clues from the very beginning. Like, he really doesn't seem quite into me. I told him I was available Friday night, but he's not taking me up on that hint and asking me out. Or I really like her. I'm texting her through the week. I'm asking her out. She's saying she's not available that day. Not letting me know the next day she's available, trying to make sure she does lock in to see me. She's not into you guys. And you have to pay attention to all of these booze clues, because if you don't from the very beginning, this is how you get yourself in painful situations. How would you recommend we approach a possibly lukewarm partner? I don't suggest you approach them at all. You have to make this decision. Okay, this is also part of the confusion. Booze clue number 4. You can't make somebody like you. You can't make somebody like you more than they already do. You can't make somebody be into you the same way you are into them. It's either there or it's not. It's either organic or it's not. Ladies, fellas, good-hearted, you know who my audience is. Guess what you do? You get into prove it mode. The pick me mode. Let me show her mode. Let me show him mode. I'm going to cook him this food. I'm going to fix her car. I'm going to mow her grass. I'm going to show up in this sexy dress. Oh, he going to really understand. Oh, let me show, right? Because you go into the show me mode. Let me show off, right? Let me try to get them and convince them. See what you about to miss out on? No, they're not going to see that. It doesn't matter what you do, what you say, what gifts, acts of service. It doesn't matter what you do. They're not going to see your value because they can't see it. They're not for you, right? So listen, when you're saying, what can you say? They shouldn't even be your partner. Wasn't it Hype by Jay that asked that question? How you get your partner to see you? Hype by Jay, you can't. Cut your losses. You went into a lopsided situation. You thought you could love him enough for all of us, right? You thought you could overcome. You thought you could compensate. You cannot. You cannot. It's either there or it's not. It's either there or it's not. So guess what? Here's how you know you're in a lopsided situation. Booze clue number 5. If you find yourself always worrying about what they feel or think about you, if you find yourself, in other words, you don't feel secure in your situation, you always worrying that they're out here seeing somebody else or that they're chasing something else. You don't feel secure in what you've got. You don't know beyond a shadow of a doubt that they value you and love you. You always worrying about the next chick. You worried about the next dude. You always overcompensating and doing the most. You can't just show up as you're just your genuine self. You're doing extra to try to keep them locked in, keep them happy. There's a constant expression, right? Constant acts, constant energy, constant activity that's going towards you, trying to make sure they're happy with you. Guys, that is no way to live. You cannot live like that. Thank God I'm not that invested and it's still early. Hype by Jay. Love you, Rebecca. Love you too, sweetie. Get out. Get out. Right? And I always say, listen, and guys, if you leave somebody and they really do love you and they really do catch a clue, guess what they'll do? Come chase you down. Come run you down. They're going to be at your door. All of a sudden you will see a whole nother side and the dynamic will shift. The power will shift to be equal and even the way it's supposed to be. If they really do love you and they really do recognize, and maybe you've been that good-hearted person that enabled too much, that gave too much, right? And if they really do love you, if you really walk away and say, this ain't working for me, you're not in this the way I am, I deserve more than this, and you're done. And then they start showing up. With my coaching clients over the years, this is when the man is showing up at the door. He writing letters, right? He's like, oh no, now wait a minute. E.K. Marshall says, not nowadays, women move on, right? If she's into you, EK, if she's really into, let me tell you something. It's only been a couple situations in my life, I'm just being honest, that it's like, whoa, where you think you going? Let Carrie Pope try to go somewhere. Excuse me? Where you going? Oh, I'm going too. Where you at? Look, I will be in the daylight with a flashlight looking for Carrie Anthony Pope. Right? But it's not a lot of people that are going to feel that way about you, EK. This is rare. Like true love is rare. A lot of us have been in situations, guys, situations where people have just liked you. It hasn't been true love. And that's part of the problem, right? Because you're out here having these experiences. And even when you're in a situation or you're in a relationship, and it's not really healthy and it's not really mutual, and that's all you can compare things to. But when somebody really, really loves you, really, really loves you, they gonna show up. They ain't letting you just get away that easy. Like my situation is a little different. He feels like I'm trying to leave or not stick it out while he's in crisis, and we've been talking about marriage. Her so chocolate, honey, it sounds like to me you've got to make some decisions. You got to make some decisions. Are you really in it for the long haul? Is he in crisis, and are you really not being there for him? Have you been treating him like an option? Are you kind of lukewarm on him? It's some real questions for you to ask yourself. Because listen, guys, people are trying to let you know how they feel, okay? And the one thing you don't want to ever do is not validate someone's feelings. They have a right to their feelings. In relationships, they have a right to their feelings. And if you are going to be someone who ignores how your partner feels, maybe you're not ready for a relationship. It takes maturity. You can't be selfish in a healthy, loving relationship. You have to be concerned about their feelings. You have to, listen, if you really love him, honey, then guess what? You need to be concerned that he feels like you're not showing up for him in a crisis. Because even if you guys were not romantically involved, guess what best friends do? See, these are some of these questions that help you. Booze clue what? Number 6, am I on 5 or 6 yet? Right? Here's another booze clue. Stop and ask questions based on being best friends, and you will get to the root of how someone really feels about you, why they love you. If you find it hard to show up for somebody, guess what? That's not even friendship, right? That's not even friendship, y'all. Forget about romantic entanglements. Forget about sleeping together and sex and marriage and babies. If you just can't show up for someone, if you can't be present, if you don't care about their feelings, where they're at in life, how they're doing, their overall well-being, stop and think about your friends. Think about your best friends, right? You're not sitting there judging their situations when they're going through something. You're literally so concerned, like that's my friend, like you love them. You're trying to look out for them. You're trying to give them the best advice. You're trying to give them support. You're trying to give them mental health and mental, encouragement and support. You're trying to give them spiritual support and emotional support. Think about it. If you start treating your relationship different than you treat friendships, something's wrong. Inspire and glorify. He says, I abandoned him and now he's disconnected and doesn't feel safe. That may be something, if you guys are in a long-term relationship, inspire and glorify, it may be something you need to visit a counselor about. Some couples counseling, some couples coaching. Because if he truly feels that way and he's withdrawing, there's a reason. There's a reason. And a lot of this comes down to booze clue number, 6 or 7? Am I on 6 or am I on 7? I've lost count, guys. Booze clue number 7. Communication. Communication. If you are somebody who is not good at communication, you're going to struggle to have healthy and loving relationships. Why? Because you're not a good listener. Because we're on 7. Thank you, baby. We're on 7. This is booze clue number 7. If you want a healthy relationship, you have to become a good listener. You have to become a good communicator. You got to be able to express your feelings. Lord, I know I need couple therapy. Rebecca, do you do couples therapy? Carrie A. Pope does couples therapy. I can't mess with y'all couples, y'all. See, Carrie used to include me in some couples coaching, guys, and I would just be in there like, look, this ain't gonna work. This shit not gonna work. Like, let's not even do any more sessions. Like, because I've come to the conclusion that about 90% of these relationships out here ain't supposed to be together. The sum total of what I have estimated when I look at people's relationships, it's like y'all together for all the wrong reasons. Y'all acting like you still in high school. Neither one of you has the maturity to even be showing up in this relationship. Both of you need to be doing some individual work to even be ready to be in a relationship. Look, that's why I couldn't be in the couples counseling. Carrie's like, Rebecca, you can't say that in the premarital counseling. Rebecca, like, y'all know me. I'm too, like, I'll just be like, she said what? He said what? What do they think the like, I listen, the things that come out of people's mouths, guys, and Carrie is so patient and he is so good, guys. Me, on the other hand, I'm like, look, I know what it is to have some failed marriages and some failed relationships. I know what it takes to have a relationship work. Like, some of this stuff was a setup. Y'all should have never even been in this. Like, and y'all talking about getting married? Y'all can't even get along as boyfriend and girlfriend, and you're talking about getting, okay, I mean, I'm going off on a tangent. Yes, so I'll put Carrie's link, guys. We'll get his couples counseling, couples coaching link. Listen, I had to stop being in them sessions because Carrie's like, Rebecca, you are not being encouraging. I'm like, this is doomed. Like, anyway, EK says, I've been saying that for years, and yet women don't want the friend. They want excitement, the dangerous or whatever. They don't want the guy they know and knows them that has been with them. EK, I'll say this. I think that one of the hardest parts about dating is that so few people are truly mature enough, and people are very, very emotional. Very emotional. And then what people like depends so much on early experiences. Like, if you get this prototype, people get types based on their early experiences. And I think that we underestimate how much this plays a role in people's preferences for things, right? And preferences can really have you jacked up, because what we have is a society that has created a lot of preferences based on image and ego, but that's not the stuff that makes relationships healthy and makes relationships work, right? People's preferences about stuff is jacked up. You're falling in love with the last person you should be trying to be with, and you're friend zoning the person that's a great potential wife or potential husband. I mean, just real talk, because the people who make horrible wives and husbands, are steadily getting chosen, right, all the time. Yes. Mary says, if you're used to a certain thrill in life due to childhood, perhaps you'll likely look for it in romantic relationships. Listen, for some of you guys, you got used to drama and trauma and craziness in your childhood. You got used to, we start to create an appetite and what's normal for us based on experiences, guys. My dad was, at 8 years old, his stepfather killed his mother and killed himself at 8 years old. So my father was the victim of a murder-suicide. And he walked in and found them, the stepfather and his mother. Okay, Hardy is down here having a fit. And so at 8 years old, my father experienced major, major trauma. And literally, he was bouncing around from home to home, lots of chaotic craziness in his childhood, in his marriage to my mother. Once again, my dad, very anointed man of God. However, was he healthy? Was he mentally healthy? He literally, our household could only go maybe 30 days being peaceful before my dad's going to start an argument. He's going to start a disagreement. Things are going too well. It's too easy. It's too peaceful, because my mom was a very well-balanced, hard work. She was like the backbone of our family. So she had been raised in a very well-balanced family. right? So my mom was like this backbone that held everything together. She was the glue. But my dad literally, like, let's just say we were going on a family vacation. My dad would literally, guys, like 2 days before the vacation, I'm not going. Just go without me. No reason, right? No reason. My dad had to literally create drama, because peace was so foreign, right? A good life was so foreign. Stability was so foreign that it made him uncomfortable. Think about how that's sabotaging, right? Think about how that is sabotaging. If you've got an area where your normal is chaotic, or your normal is traumatic, or your normal, think about it. You're sabotaging all kinds of really healthy, wonderful situations simply because through your filter, right, through your mind and your eyes, that's not normal and that doesn't feel good. How did your father land your mother, being as though they come from two different backgrounds? They met when they were 13 years old, fell in love when they were 13 and 14. My mother, he was my mother's childhood sweetheart. She held on to that. She married, he went through all kinds of craziness, and she married him later in life. I'm putting it in one of my books. Their story is in one of my books, guys. But she did not learn to navigate that, Liz. My father was toxic. He was a cheater. My mother ended up getting cancer. She died after fighting cancer for over 10 years, and she died unhappy. Guys, when I say to you that your choice in a partner is one of the most important, crucial choices you will ever make in life, because good people, good women and good men, make toxic choices because they think they can love them. You think you can love them enough to overcome their issues. And all that happens is they break your heart, break you down, break down your self-esteem. Listen, I'm speaking on what I know for sure. My mother loved him and he loved my mom, but he didn't know how to love healthy. And he broke her down and broke her down. And she chose to stay. She stayed in it. So she lost herself. How does bitterness and unforgiveness show up? How does pain show up in the body? Illness. Illness. Do you know that like 78% of cancer patients have deep-rooted issues of unforgiveness and pain? Physical ailments manifest out of pain. Physical ailments. My mother, I remember being in my 20s and saying to my mom, you need to leave daddy. You need to, and listen, you guys know, for any of you who have really listened to me, you know I'm a daddy's girl. I love my daddy. When I say I was a daddy's girl, oh, he was a great dad. Like, I love my daddy. But I could look at my mom and say, oh, hell no. Mama, you need to get out of this. You deserve better than this. He's not going to change. This is who he is. Honestly wonder where you learn to love like you love, carry, and have a relationship you have. I feel like I do not know where to look for good examples. Mary, you have to become your own damn examples. Okay? I had to learn from my parents what not to freaking do. I had to look at myself and look at the patterns I was creating, where I was repeating my mother's behavior, repeating her choices, repeating, right, what I had learned, what had been role modeled to me. And then I started getting the same results. And I'm saying, whoa, I'm not happy with this. This isn't, no. I don't want this. Whoa, wait a minute. If she did it like this, I have to analyze myself and say, this didn't work for my mom. My mom deserved better than this. This didn't work for my father. He needed better than this. What needs to change? You have to become your own damn examples, baby. Don't look around you for a whole lot of examples of healthy people having healthy relationships, because people for years and generations have not worked on themselves or their issues. They just showed up, got married, and then proceed to bleed all over each other, right? And then people are jacked up, and then kids are jacked up, right? No, become your own examples. You got to work on you. Analyze the hell out of your own life. I looked at myself. Wow. Enabler. My mom. Enabler, right? Why can I talk so much about this stuff, guys? It's me. It's the work I had to do on me to get where I wanted to be. I had to break the pattern. I had to make up my mind. The buck stops here. I'm not passing this on. I'm not going to repeat this. This is what generational curses are, is when you don't break the toxic mindsets and behaviors that are causing the same patterns again and again and again. Me, Rebecca, it doesn't matter who you got it from. You can't just look and say, well, my daddy did this. If I wanted to sit here and say, my dad was like this, and he was depressed, and he was bipolar, and he was this, and he did that, and he was a Rolling Stone, and he was a cheater, and that's why I can't commit, and that's why I'm emotionally imbalanced, and that's why... And my mama was an enabler, and she was passive, and she was just a bleeding heart, and she would give herself away, and she didn't require enough, and that's why I'm like this, and that's why I'm so messed up. And if that was my answer for everything, and I kept showing up saying, well, my mom, well, my dad, well, my sister, well, my brother, well, if you keep showing up like that, that's called excuses. You are now an adult. It does not matter what happened when you were a child. I'm sorry, like real talk. It doesn't matter where you came from. It matters for you, but what I'm saying is there's no excuses. If you are a grown-up human being, you don't get off the hook by saying, well, that's how we've always done it. Well, that's all I know. Well, this is what I learned from my mom, and this is what I learned from my dad. You are an adult. You are responsible for your own choices. You are responsible for your own choices. You're responsible for your own healing. You're responsible for your own mindset. You're responsible for your life. If you want a better life, you are going to have to break out of the patterns you have been stuck in, that you learned from all the toxic family members and craziness and relationships, and you have to change. I just happen to be someone gifted at self-healing, gifted at self-awareness, gifted at being able to analyze a situation and break it down to its core to say, I refuse to keep repeating what's not working for me in my life. Your past is not your excuse. Create your life. Yes, Pink Secrets, create your life. I refused to be a woman who would lose herself in a man to the point I've got cancer and my self-esteem. My mother was a gifted, phenomenal, powerful, funny, loving woman. She was absolutely amazing. And I watched herself sacrifice herself, kill herself in that relationship. Choose it in the name of love. In the name of love. Love my parents. I love them, guys. But no, we can't do this anymore, right? We cannot do this. I look at my dad. Guess where a lot of people hide their trauma? Guess where a lot of people hide all their toxic ways? In the name of Jesus. It's under the blood. Guess where a lot of people hide all their bullshit? All their messy, nasty, toxic, ugly stuff. Right? Where do they hide it? Oh, it's covered under the blood. It's all washed away in Jesus' name because I've accepted God into my heart. From the moment you recite it and accept Jesus into your heart, you're a renewed creature. Bullshit. Can I say it? BS. That's not the way human psychology works, guys. You don't have an altar experience and God cleans the slate and literally you have a brand new mind and a brand new heart and brand new ways. That's why so many Christians are so freaking jacked up. Because instead of being on the altar, you need to be in therapy. My daddy knew the Bible front to back to front, anointed, prophetic, apostolic man of God, could prophesy to you up. You'll be up under a table by the time he get done prophesying to you and telling you what God is showing him about you. But somehow none of that ever gave him insight into himself. How can you prophesy and have the gifts to take people from the lowest places of their life and lift them up to believe in them and get them on their feet? But yet that same anointing cannot even reflect back into your own life to heal you. That is not God's will for anybody. It is not God's will for you to just be used of God and be anointed by God, but then you're still suffering and stuck in all of your misguided ugliness and mess. It's not God's will. That's the old school. Why do you think all these ministers and pastors are always getting outed? Why do you think there's always so much mess underneath being hidden? And all of a sudden in the world we now live in with all these cameras and all this social media, there's so much expose, right? So much scandal. Why? Because traditional religion has not taught healing. It's taught masking. Masking. Hide it. Just act like you got it all together. You don't have to have it all together. Just act like you got it all together. So you got churches full of hurting people and everyone's smiling. Oh, we're saved. We're the saints of God. God is good all the time. Won't he do it? Won't he will? No, he won't do it. God doesn't make you do anything you don't want to do. God is on board with you getting intentional and serious about getting honest and naked and authentic and genuine and real. That's what God is on board with. God is on board with you being transparent and getting honest and saying, you know what, this is some really effed up shit right now. And I know that I'm effed up. And before I keep on being effed up, let me stop and get some help because I'm jacked up. And it's time for me to stop acting like this bullshit is ice cream and trying to make people eat it like it's ice cream all the time when you know you full of shit. Let's stop calling BS ice cream. You ever stop and think about the pressures put on all this old traditional fake leadership? You ever stop and think about it? Think about how I talk. Think about how I turn on this camera and I just talk about whatever's on my heart. I talk about whatever I've been through. I talk about what I've done wrong, what I've got right, I talk about how I got where I'm at. I talk about why? Because I'm free. I'm free. I don't give a fuck what you think about me. I don't care what you say about me. Why? Because I'm free. I've owned all my shit. I've owned all my mistakes. Right? I've owned it. I'm saying, if I can own it, and you know what else I learned? This is what I learned. We're all in the same boat. While you're sitting there trying to feel and act like you're perfect, everyone around you's in the same boat. Everyone's got issues and problems and downfalls and struggles and pain and trauma and shame and guilt. And there is no one walking this earth that is exempt from this thing called messy life. Everybody's out here struggling in one way or another. And if you would just open yourself up to be able to own your mess. See, that's what I've done. I've just said, yeah, I did that. That was me. I had an abortion. I've been married before. I got it all wrong before I got it right. I sure did. I prophesied when I was drunk. I threw parties all over the city. Why? Why can I do that? Why can't I talk about all my messy, ugly parts? Because who's gonna check me, boo? You ain't in no place to check me. You ain't in no position to judge. Because guess what I learned? While you're sitting there worried about what somebody's gonna think about you over what you consider the biggest mistake of your life or the lowest point of your life, baby, they over there done had 8 abortions, cheating on the person they're with currently, while you over here with your good heart worrying about one little thing or 2 little things that you did. There's people out here, the people you're comparing yourself with are the filthiest and lowest of the low. So you over here judging yourself, constantly dealing with guilt and shame, and not even realizing that that's not the Spirit of God. It's not the will of God. It's not how God operates. That's religion. You ever stop to realize that religion is about control? Because as long as I can control you, for you to always be feeling guilty about something, I keep you in this toxic cycle of guilt and shame, which keeps you coming to the so-called man or woman of God because you constantly feel like you need to be forgiven for something. When the Word of God and what God says and the Spirit of God says, there is no record. If there's no record, then why are you always thinking about all these so-called sins you've got? Because according to God, there is no record. As soon as you've done something, it's as if it never happened because the love of God flows and covers everything because nothing can separate you from the love of God. Which means there's no record. Which means the only record is in your head. Which means that you are the one keeping yourself captive and imprisoned in guilt and shame, not anybody else. But you've been taught to think that way because that's part of the system that keeps people in power over you. So you have to keep answering to people and giving them your money. Doggies, you quit fighting. Gotta give me your money. Can't be blessed without giving me your money. I'm just talking about what I know. You are human. You've made mistakes. You have issues. We all do. Soon as I work on one issue, guys, God shows me something else about me to work on. And I'm just like, dang, just got that figured out. Now I got to work on this too. It's called life. And the sooner you get to work, working on your stuff, stop worrying about everybody else. See, that's part of the problem. You know why people are so obsessed about relationships? Do you know why you're so obsessed about being in a relationship? So obsessed about being married? So obsessed? Do you know why? Because you get to focus on someone else and you don't have to deal with your own mess. That's what relationships do in our current culture. Yeah, you make it all about love and feeling good in the beginning, but that's why relationships turn toxic so quickly, because subconsciously you get in a situation where now it can become someone else's fault that you're hurting, someone else's fault that you're not okay. And I've said it before, you came into the situation not okay. Now you're just more not okay because you're bleeding all over each other. Stop and think about what relationships are. They are two people coming into a situation with all of their accumulated experiences, trauma, and issues. Accumulated. And now you come into this situation where you have to deal with yours and his and hers. You guys ask me, how do Carrie and I have such a healthy relationship? How do we have such a loving relationship? You're looking at two people who are showing up authentic and doing their work every day and have dropped all the excuses, dropped all the blame game, dropped all the guilt and shame, and done the work to work through our personal issues so you can come together. Jesus does not guide you through your healing, spiritually strong woman. Guys, if I hear one more person constantly throwing Jesus of what Jesus is going to do, guess what? Religion has people so freaking stuck because you're looking for somebody outside of you to come along and rescue you from your current situation. It's not happening. You have to get up off your ass and you have to get serious about saying that you are ready for change and that you are not settling for anything less than your best life. And you're willing to show up and do the work necessary to reprogram all this stinking thinking that has nothing to do with Jesus, because Jesus told you how you're supposed to think. Everything that's good, everything that's perfect, that's how you're supposed to be thinking. We have thinking problems. We have heart problems. All this mess has got to be reprogrammed. Reprogrammed. Spiritually strong woman, I worked on myself for 10 years and I am healed. No, you are in the process of healing. You are on a level of healing. Nobody has ever arrived. Nobody's ever perfect and healed. You are in the process of healing. There are levels to everything. And the minute you think you got it all figured out is the minute a situation will show you very clearly that you don't. We are all a work in progress. Healing is a process. Yes, Kia. Healing is a process. And I'm telling you right now, if you are a spiritual, religious Rita, religious Rodney, my channel is not for you. I promise you, you will get blocked in a heartbeat. Come on saying whatever you want. I'm not for you. That's not who I'm here for. I'm not. I promise you I'm not. You're going to have problems with every other thing I say because I'm going to talk about meditation. I'm going to talk about alignment. I'm going to talk about you getting still and dealing with yourself and the Holy Spirit, source, creator, universe, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, it's a little blend of all kinds of stuff over here because that's what I found worked. I'm a preacher's kid. I know the Bible front and back. Been speaking in tongues since I was 8 years old. Laying hands on people since I was 12 years old. I knew all about religion and that didn't help no situation. That didn't heal my life. You couldn't speak in tongues enough or fast enough to fast it away. I had to get real and I had to get honest with Rebecca. And I had to start doing the work to unwind and unravel all this mess and all these layers. All these layers. And it sure didn't come from speaking in tongues and laying hands on people. Anyway, I love you guys. Look, we started with Blue's Clues and went in a whole nother direction, didn't we? Anyway, I love you guys. I will see you tomorrow for tomorrow's live. Once again, we're back to here. Don't even know what to call this one. I don't know what to title the video, y'all. Y'all gonna have to help me. Right? I don't know what to call it. I started out with Blue's Clues and now I don't know what to call it. All right. I love you guys. I'll figure out a name. Love you guys. All right. Blessings in abundance. Talk to you soon. Bye.